I promise this is probably the weirdest and most complicated case you'll ever see on paternity court. Now Ms. Schwarz claims that the defendant, Mr. Hatton, fathered her 9-month-old child. Mr. Hatton, however, tells the judge that he is not the father, and her husband happens to be the father of the child. Oh, you heard that right. Well, here is how the case begins.
Ms. Schwarz, you opened your case to prove to the defendant that he fathered your 9-month-old child, Azalyn.
Yes.
You understand his doubt, but state he is her father. Is that correct?
Yes.
Did he just say he wants her to take a polygraph test to determine if she's been telling the truth about her affairs? Hello? She's a married woman. What the both of them have is already an affair to begin with. I really want to know how they got into this situation.
We have 2 other children together and he fathers them. Little Azalyn is left out.
And you can feel that difference.
I feel my daughter's pain whenever she looks up at him, and he'll be there with her while I'm at work and things like that, and other family members are taking care of my child and he wants nothing to do with her.
Remember when I said this was a very weird and complicated case? I'm sure you understand why. Ms. Schwarz says that they already have 2 kids together, and it breaks her heart that he is denying this child. I wonder what other truth bombs are going to pop out.
I don't believe I'm the dad. I do question the way that she lives her life. I mean, it's reckless.
Reckless?
Yes, that's how I feel. Every time we have an argument, her husband's gotta be in it. I mean, come on now. She'll lay in the bed on the phone and cry to her husband and tell him how bad I am.
I mean, what? Even the judge can't hide her reaction. Every single thing he just said makes 0 sense. How is the boyfriend upset that she's talking to her husband when they fight? How is she even telling her husband that she's pissed with her boyfriend? What is going on?
What was the nature of your relationship?
Okay, the nature of our relationship wasn't good. Okay, it was bad, it was rough, it was rocky road. We were fighting every day. I could say something and then she's gone. That's what she
So how long was she gone when she'd leave the house?
Like 2 weeks at a time.
2 weeks?
Yeah.
I'm convinced this man has some kind of comedy show because he is very hilarious. What makes him doubt the paternity of the child is the fact that anytime they fight or have an argument, she runs back to her husband. At this point, I think we need to hear from the husband.
Were you involved in the pregnancy when Azalyn was born? Were you there when
I
she
was
born?
involved in her pregnancy, even though I don't think the child's mine.
He went to the doctor's appointments. He was there for everything. And
let me
now
ask-
all of a sudden, oh, I'm not the daddy.
Let
Well,
me
who's
ask
the
you-
daddy? Jesus? Because I didn't sleep with nobody else.
No, I can
and
tell you
don't
who the
have-
daddy is, Mark Schwartz.
You can't tell me these guys are not cracking you the hell up. I mean, are they being serious right now? One thing is for sure, they both fit each other. Ms. Schwartz says that Mr. Hatton is the only man she was sleeping with and she knows he is the father of the baby. That's...
When Azalyn was born, the day she was born.
Man, she wanted me to look between her legs and pull the baby out. I ain't no doctor.
You didn't want to see that. And there are a lot of dads
That's how-
that can't see all that.
Because how my daddy raised me, no, there's things for a man to see in this world and there's things that a man shouldn't see, and that's one of them.
Odd. Mr. Hatton tells the courtroom that after the child was born, Ms. Schwartz gave the baby her last name but refused to put his name on the child's birth certificate. In her defense, she said that he was okay with it from the very start. That just sounds very off.
When me and her first got together, she was coming uptown where I'm at to stay with me a few days and sleep with me and then run back to the country to him where she was living and raising her family with him and him not even knowing it.
Oh, no, he knew it.
Hug. Finally. At some point, I was thinking they wouldn't accept the fact that what they were doing wasn't right. What's still surprising is the fact that this whole thing is happening while Ms. Schwartz has a husband. Like, come on, who does that?
Tell the court about your relationship with your wife.
Well, she cheated on me with Mr. Hatton and multiple others.
What? I'm sorry, but are they on some kind of spell? What's going on? How does your wife cheat on you with another man, tells you about the affair, and you still feel it's okay to talk to them when they are having issues? That's just crazy.
You believe Mr. Hatton is Azalyn's biological father?
There's a possibility, but there's probably a possibility of other gentlemen.
Is there a possibility that you're her biological
Oh,
father?
no.
Yep, there is one possibility that another man is my daughter's father, and that's God himself, because he's the only other man in my life.
The sarcasm in this case is just out of this world. Ms. Schwartz's husband says that there is a chance that Mr. Hatton and a few other gentlemen could be the possible fathers of her child. Well, let's see if the DNA results can help solve this mystery.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Hatton or Mr. Schwartz is the father of 9-month-old Azalyn Hatton, the biological father is Mr. Hatton. She is your daughter, Mr. Hatton.
Ms. Phillips comes to the courtroom trying to prove that the defendant, Mr. Polk, initially accepted the baby, but after the birth of the child, he disappeared and has since then been missing in the baby's life. Mr. Polk claims that she's trying to pin the baby on him, hoping to have a relationship with him. Here's how the case starts.
Ms. Phillips, you've opened your case today to prove to Mr. Polk that he is the father of your 1-month-old daughter, Promise. You say he has been MIA since your daughter's birth. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Aha! Judging from the facial expression Ms. Phillips just gave, it seems like this is going to be an interesting case. Mr. Polk claims that there was never a romantic relationship between him and Ms. Phillips. Could he be lying?
The girl he was dealing with posted him on social media. And it was like some little revenge type stuff. Basically, she was dealing with somebody that I used to deal with in the past. So when she posted him, I was like, oh yeah, I'm about to go ahead and snatch him up. So I had some little friend requests or whatever. And then he started liking my pictures and inboxing me. He blowing my little inbox up.
And just like that, the truth bombs start to hit the floors of the courtroom. Ms. Phillips claims she was in a relationship with another guy before she began to kick it in bed with Mr. Polk. At least she admits to catching feelings, even though she claims all she wanted was sex.
I was playing my role.
But were you using protection?
Yes, at the time, yes.
Oh, he lying, Your Honor, he is lying to you? You don't believe him, do you? I know you don't believe him, because let me tell you the story. He don't like condoms. He don't like protection. He don't use protection at all.
So you say you weren't using protection?
No.
Tell me the story.
Never.
The first time you got together, when was that?
I guess we have a new sign to describe things when they happen immediately. Oh well, Mr. Polk claims that he and Ms. Phillips kicked it in bed the very first day they met. I mean, they said it was all about sex, so that's honestly not surprising.
He fell in love.
No, he fell in love with me. He fell in love with me. I left my little man and everything. I left my little boyfriend alone, left him. Everything, because BJ was telling me, oh, if you went with him, we'll be this. I want you to have my baby. I want to be a family with you. All that good stuff.
Fell for that okie doke.
Yeah, so I left my man.
What in the world of delusion is going on right now? Is she for real? She went on to tattoo his name on her body. I wonder what she's going to do if they get married. It's honestly hard to believe that it was Mr. Polk who caught feelings first. She's the one with the tattoos.
I feel like Miss Phillips, there are some other people you could have probably called.
No, he wasn't done with me. He had
but somehow,
he can't keep his hands off of me.
Somehow she got in touch with
every
my
day.
girlfriend.
I took a pregnancy test on July the 18th. This man, we probably had sex every day up until that day. He's like he addicted to me, like he just can't keep his hands off of me.
All right.
If he is addicted to her like she says he is, I very much doubt her number would be blocked on his phone. She honestly needs to come out of her world of delusion. It's pretty clear that Mr. Polk does not want anything to do with the child.
Mr.
And he
Polk,
trying to claim he cut me off, but he was catching Ubers all the way to my hotel last night till 4 o'clock this morning. Was getting on my nerves last night. For him to sit in this courtroom and swear he got a girlfriend, Your Honor, yes, get him told.
Let me speak on that.
He's the proposal.
So hold on.
Catching Ubers all the way up to 4 o'clock in the morning to my hotel
she
last night.
paid for both of my Ubers.
No, I did not. He paid.
Okay. Now I'm starting to get the feeling that Mr. Polk might actually be in love with Ms. Phillips. You don't just take an Uber by 4 in the morning to meet with someone you don't have feelings for. It's not like her life was in danger or something.
If he's denying your baby, and he's a deadbeat, and he's all the things you're testifying to, why are you having sex with him last night? Did you use protection? No.
Oh, she got him with that one. He went silent immediately. But the judge isn't wrong, though. How do you keep having sex with someone who you claim is a deadbeat and can't step up to take care of your child? Or is the sex that good?
She did tell me she slept with someone else.
I did.
Same time.
Well, that's what I want to understand.
Yeah.
Why do you have doubt, Mr. Polk? You say she told you, Miss Phillips told you she slept with somebody else.
Yes, ma'am, she did.
What did she say to you? Tell the court.
She said, BJ, I slept with someone else. Just like that.
Aha, now it makes perfect sense. Mr. Polk says that Ms. Phillips told him to his face that she had slept with someone else, and it was really good. And just like that, things get even messier between the both of them.
So, when was Promise born?
She was, Your Honor, she was born on March the 15th, but my due date was March the 22nd.
Calculate.
Uh-oh.
The probable conception dates are between June 27th and July 1st, and the possible conception dates are between June 26th and July 6th.
Look at that one.
OG sure sounds like a good name because he is MIA right now. Anyway, that revelation must suck for Ms. Phillips. Apparently, the other guy seems to be a perfect fit as the father, judging from the conception date that was just calculated. If only the other guy was here to tell his side of the story.
Gender reveal.
I made that picture.
You do look happy, Mr. Polk. You look like you're about to have a baby with your girlfriend. Were you there for the birth?
I was there.
Oh,
I was
there you are.
Okay.
Oh, in the delivery room and everything.
He can't be serious. He's judging the baby off the vibes. I mean, the baby just came into the world. What kind of vibes is he looking for? You know what? I think it's time we see the results from the DNA test.
Mr. Polk, you are the father.
Mr. Evans in this case claims that his relationship with the defendant was nothing more than a fling that lasted for just a week, which makes him certain that he can't be the father of her child. Ms. Snyder, on the other hand, believes that the results from the DNA test will prove Mr. Evans is the father of the child. Here is how the case begins.
So, Mr. Evans, you say you're certain this is not your child.
I'm absolutely certain.
Explain.
So the baby doesn't look like me from the get-go. Like, she doesn't have my nose, she doesn't have my eyes. Like, I would see, features, that would resemble me, and she doesn't look anything like me.
Well, at least Mr. Evans is willing to take care of the baby if the results reveal he is the father of the child. His doubts, however, come from the fact that the baby looks nothing like him. But if we're being honest, does the baby always have to be a carbon copy of the father?
So I was downtown playing drums, and so she walks up to me, and I see her, and she's, looking at me, and I'm just like, okay. And she's like, starts giving me those eyes, and I'm like, okay, I know that look. And then she starts, dancing a little bit, and then starts flashing her boobs. And
No one did it.
Wait, what?
Yes, you did.
That's a lie.
Yes, you did.
Well, that's definitely not something you see every day. I mean, giving him the eyes while he plays the drum sounds pretty okay. But flashing him and giving him a lap dance is just way over the bar. If he's saying the truth, then Ms. Snyder is one wild woman.
So then I get a phone call from my ex saying that she's at my house right now. She brought a guy over because he lost his job, he needed a place to stay, and it was the only place that she can think of to bring him. And I'm just like, okay.
That is just hilarious to listen to. But then again, can you blame him for having that in his head? I mean, if a lady flashes you and starts to give you a lap dance, best believe things might go further than you expect. But pretend like we don't know all this, shall we?
We go to the bed, and her and I are, in my room, and Miss Snyder comes in the room, and she gets in the bed with us. Well, I'm talking to my ex at this point. Why aren't you out there with him? Because you brought him here. She's like, well, I'm not sleeping out there with him. I'm sleeping here with you and her. And I was just like,
oh my goodness, this can't be real. It feels like he's telling a story from one of those intense romantic novels. So basically, he claims that Ms. Snyder and his ex were fighting over him, and he just stayed there and allowed them to do their business. Wow.
and I'm just like, I'm thinking in the back of my head, like, this is amazing, I can't, I'm excited, so I'm just like, I want to get control of the situation.
Okay.
And so I'm talking to my ex, I'm like, you've had me long enough, you need to learn how to share.
Ha ha ha! I am speechless at this point. He told them to play nice? I'm sorry, are they puppies? All that fun and look where he ended up. Next time he's going to learn that there's always consequences for having so much fun. They are going to learn the hard way.
So you had sex for a week, Miss Snyder, with Mr. Evans?
A couple times during the week, yes, ma'am.
And you were there all week?
Yes, Your Honor.
And so therefore, that's why you're saying he's Laney's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Judge Lauren honestly could not have put it any better. How do you meet someone for the first time and y'all go straight to kicking it in bed? What's even mind-blowing is that they didn't use any protection. They definitely deserve to be in this courtroom.
I went to Colorado to go get a job, and I came back a week later, and before I left, we had met up one last time, and we had sex that night as well.
In the
and
car.
I didn't use protection.
Looks like they really enjoy having sex with each other. It seems like while he was away for that week, all he could think about was coming back to kick it in bed with the lady he met on the streets while playing drums. Hilarious.
So, Mr. Evans, take me to the day you find out Ms. Snyder is pregnant.
Okay, so I'm in Colorado at this point working, and she calls me like it was in between July and August of 2018, and I get a phone call from her, and she told me that she was pregnant.
So apparently, while Mr. Evans was away working, Ms. Snyder called him and told him that she was pregnant. He felt the baby belonged to him because at the time, he presumed that he was the only guy Ms. Snyder was sleeping with. I personally doubt that.
Did you ask Ms. Snyder if she'd been with anyone else? Or could it be anyone else's baby? Did you ask?
After the fact, yes. After I saw her, I did.
What did she tell you when you asked her?
She said that she had slept with someone else.
I just knew she had slept with someone else, but she claims the guy she slept with was someone she knew for a bit, and it was after the date of conception. At least she remembered to use protection this time.
So, well, this court did track down that other man because we wanted to hear his side of the story, and he sent in the following statement. I admit sleeping with Amanda, but I did use a condom. The condom did not break, so I know that baby is not mine.
Wow, looks like she wasn't lying about that aspect. The court was able to get a statement from the other guy she slept with, and he says that he knows for certain the baby is not his because he used protection. Good for him, I guess.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sleep with anybody else on the 31st?
No, Your Honor. No.
The end of March?
I met him the end of March, beginning of April.
Okay. So, Mr. Evans, now that you see this calendar, are you pretty convinced now? Has it changed your testimony? Do you believe you are Lainey's biological father?
No.
Well, even with all of that, Mr. Evans still believes he is not the father of the baby. Since they both can't agree, I think the DNA results are going to pick a side for them. Here are the results.
Mr. Evans, you are not the father. You were right, Mr. Evans. You are not her biological father.
Ms. Grimes opens her case, stating that she has always known and believed that her ex-boyfriend is the father of her child, and the results are going to prove just that. Mr. Davis, the ex-boyfriend, says that all she does is lie and there are two other men who could be the father of the baby. The case begins like this.
So, Ms. Grimes, what was the nature of your relationship with the defendant?
I was in a relationship with him when I found out I was pregnant.
How long had you been together?
Me and Anthony had been together for about 3 months.
And about 3 months into that, you realized
I was pregnant.
Something seems off with that story. She says that she found out she was pregnant just 3 months into their relationship. She also goes on to say that when she told Mr. Davis about the pregnancy, he was super excited and wanted to be part of the baby's life. So what changed?
First, I didn't know what to think, but you know what I'm saying, thinking that I might possibly have a baby, you know, it kind of made me happy, you know, that I was gonna have another baby. But then, that's when I started finding stuff out, you know.
What did you find?
I found her telling another man that it might have been his baby.
Ow! I definitely was not expecting to hear that. I just knew there was something fishy about her initial statement. Could it be that the baby belongs to the guy Mr. Davis is talking about? I guess we're going to find out, aren't we?
I looked at her phone.
And when you looked at her phone, you found a message.
I found
but you cheat
two
too.
messages from 2 different people.
Oh, 2 messages.
But he was cheating too, so we was even.
Ms. Grimes, I want to understand what you're saying. You said you admit you were cheating because he was cheating too?
Yeah.
Aha! I knew that smile on her face was looking a little suspicious. She admits to cheating, but says that the only reason she cheated was because Mr. Evans was cheating as well. Looks like a case or tit for tat. Now look where they ended up. Disappointing if you ask me.
It was some text messages from 2 different men. 2 of them.
So she texted 2 different men, not just one?
She was telling one that it was his baby and telling the other one she didn't know who baby it was, so I assume it could have been his too.
Ah, This lady is lying through her teeth. Who does she expect to believe that? Mr. Evans drops the truth bomb and tells the judge that she was cheating on him with 2 different men. Trying to defend herself, she says that she only told one that he could be that father.
So take me to the day you give birth. I mean, after all of this, do you have support through the pregnancy? Is Mr. Davis there?
Yeah, he was there.
He went to doctor's appointments?
Yeah, he went to a couple.
And then on the day you give birth, what happens?
He's at the hospital. He stayed the whole time I was in the hospital. He was with me. He was like, I can tell he's mine. He looked just like me and my family.
These two can't agree on anything, can they? Ms. Grimes claims that when she gave birth to the baby, Mr. Davis said that the baby looks like him and his other kids. As you'd expect, Mr. Davis was not going with her story. He said he never made such statements. I wonder who's lying.
Do you sign the birth certificate?
No.
You don't?
No, I wasn't sure.
That's the right thing to do when you aren't sure.
I can't trust her word.
And so meanwhile, you've just had a baby, Miss Grimes.
Yes.
The father is saying now, I don't believe.
Yes.
Whatever happened to this ex?
He's still around. He's the father of my first child.
This lady needs to see a doctor after this court case. She says that the ex she was messing with is still very much around, and he is the father of her first child. To make things more complicated, she says that he also believes he might be the father of the baby in question. Wow.
It's from Miss Grimes to her ex. Says, I need you because I cheated on Anthony with you, and it's possible James is yours.
It was possible. I didn't say he was his, though. Them weren't my words. That James was yours did not come out of my mouth. James, it's possible. We slept together one time.
That's
around the time I got pregnant.
Oh yes, that's enough reason to have doubts about the child. Heck, it's even enough reason for them to never be together again. If I were in his shoes, I don't think Ms. Grimes would ever be able to reach me after finding out these secrets.
Do you believe you are James's biological father?
Well, yeah.
Why is that?
Because around the same time, she had, it all add up.
The timeline.
Yeah,
he don't look like you, though.
What does he mean by something like that? If he thinks he is the father of the child, then they've been kicking it in bed for sure. Given the fact that they already have a child together, I won't be surprised if he is the father of the child in question.
Says things that make me believe, so.
What does she say?
I feel like, he yours, you know what I mean? I want him to be yours. She even told me that, she would rather for me to be the father.
So she's told you she wants the child to be yours.
Yeah,
I didn't say that.
She told me that a couple times.
Ouch. Her mouth just doesn't have any flirters. Her ex-boyfriend claims that she told him she wants the baby to be his, but she claps back and says that she can't want the baby to be his because he doesn't take care of the first one. Seems like nobody wants to tell the truth. I think we should get the results.
Pertaining to whether Mr. Davis or Mr. Warren, the biological father is Mr. Davis.
So I wasn't lying.
Taylor wants nothing more than to find out who her real father is. Surprisingly, this is not her first time in Judge Lauren's courtroom. But here is the thing. Back in the day, her mother used to mess with 2 guys and, for some reason, does not know who Taylor's father is. Now, she is here with her mom and another man to find out the identity of her father.
Mr. Hardy, you are here to prove what you have always known, that you fathered the defendant's 26-year-old daughter, Taylor. You say your belief was proven to be true after Taylor learned another man was not her biological dad.
Oh wow. It seems like this case is going to be filled with a lot of surprises. Ms. Lynn, who happens to be Taylor's mother, tells the court that there is a chance that Mr. Hardy and some other guy might be the father to her daughter. At this point, how many men did she sleep with?
Mr. Hardy, you say you've always known you were Taylor's biological father?
Yes, Your Honor.
Tell me why.
Brandy and I was together at the time that Taylor was conceived. I was there as much as we could possibly be together, every chance we got to be together. Also, she has same color eyes, same color hair, looks just like my oldest son.
Man, you can see it in his eyes. He wants Taylor to be his daughter so bad. He even tells Judge Lauren that she looks like his son because they have the same eyes and the same hair color. Oh well, one thing is for sure. The truth always comes out in this courtroom.
The second time she told me she was pregnant, I doubted it because she had already said she was pregnant before.
So you were told she was pregnant before?
Yes, but she wasn't pregnant that time. So I had my doubts the second time she told me she was pregnant. I didn't believe it until I seen for myself that she was pregnant.
Since you've always known this was your child, were you accompanying her? Was your family involved in the pregnancy? Were you there?
Not at all.
No, ma'am.
I wonder why her parents did not want him to get her daughter. I mean, if he is the father of the child, it's expected that he should be able to see his daughter. Something doesn't feel right about that story. What's even shocking is that fact that Ms. Lynn faked a pregnancy in the past.
Taylor, I want to ask you, so all this time you're being raised by Mr. Jennings?
Yes.
And this is the man you believe is your biological father your whole life?
Yes, Your Honor.
So how did you find out that he might be your biological father?
It was Thanksgiving. I think it was maybe I was 23, right around there. I had asked my mom because my boyfriend had mentioned that I looked like him.
So her mother did not even tell her that there was a chance that another man could be her biological father. Wow. So much for being a good mother, Ms. Lynn. In her defense, Ms. Lynn claimed that she did it because she was trying to protect her daughter, and she felt her daughter was not ready to know the truth.
You reached out to him and you
Yes.
submitted that message to the court.
Yes.
Let me see what this message says. Hey Keith, I was searching on Facebook through my mom's old friends looking for my biological father. Do you know who he could be? Mr. Hardy responds, it's me. You respond, what? Why didn't you tell me?
Wow. What are the odds of that actually happening? Apparently, Taylor had some doubt that her real father was out in the world, and she wanted to find who he was. She hopped on her mom's Facebook and texted Mr. Hardy, but Mr. Hardy claims he was surprised because he thought Taylor always knew he was her father.
Miss Lynn, when you hear your daughter speak so beautifully about a day spent with Mr. Hardy, that just having that moment just meant the world to her, how does that make you feel? Because it is your assertion that there's a very real possibility that he is not her biological father.
It hurts me for her because she grew up knowing the man I was married to as her father.
It doesn't work that way, Ms. Lynn. Yes, she's your daughter, and we all know you love her, but she still needs to know who her actual father is. Taylor claims to have had a nice outing with Mr. Hardy on one of her birthdays, but Ms. Lynn doesn't seem to like that it happened.
And one of the ways at your age at that time you could marry him was that you had to be pregnant.
I was 15 years old.
And you admitted that the first day you had sex with Mr. Jennings. Day 2, Mr. Hardy. Next day and the next day, day 3 and 4 with Mr. Bryant. Because your doctor had given you a 4-day window of conception.
Yep.
So there is another man, possibly be
Yes.
your daughter's biological father.
Yes.
Well, that definitely changes everything. Taylor believes that Mr. Hardy is her biological father, but here's where everything goes crazy. Ms. Lynn says that there was a man she enacted to marry, and the only way to do that was to get pregnant. To make things worse, she slept with another man trying to make this happen.
We've been told that you are a potential biological father. Do you believe you are her biological father?
Yes, ma'am.
You do? Tell the court why.
Because she's got so much resemblance of my daughter. I've been believing it for 26 years. It's time to get it over with, you know.
It looks like the problem here is Ms. Lynn. Mr. Bryant, who also happens to be one of the possible fathers, walks into the courtroom and tells everyone that Ms. Lynn told him he could be the father of the child when he found out she was pregnant.
What you experienced with Taylor and believing that you were basically locked out of her life.
Yeah, I pretty much bought my rights to the state.
When you hear this, Taylor, how does it make you feel?
I mean, sad, because, I mean, either one is and one's not. I mean, I don't want to hurt anyone. I want to know the truth, but I don't want anyone to get hurt because of me, you know.
It's not because of you, babe.
No, that's not your fault.
It's not because of you.
That's my fault.
Like Judge Lauren said, it's really not her fault, so she should feel bad at all. If anyone is to be blamed, it's definitely her mom. Oh well, the only way out now is for the results to be read out, and here they come.
As it pertains to whether or not Mr. Bryant or Mr. Hardy is the biological father of 26-year-old Taylor's biological father is Mr. Bryant.
Yes! Yes, I told you! Thank you very much.